Hi, I'm Jane Mann and this is a Back to Basics cooking show. Today I'm going to show you how to make a simple tomato sauce. First we'll need an onion, some garlic and a tin of tomatoes. It's that simple. Now, first we'll get our heat on. I am a believer that you don't have to cook everything at high. There's no need for maximum heat. What we need is a very low heat, actually at about 3 or 4. I'll put it at 4 to begin with so that we have a build-up of heat while I'm chopping some onion and garlic. Now again, when chopping garlic, please do be very careful that you don't mix up a bulb with a clove. A clove is one of the segments, a bit like a tangerine, of this whole. If you use this whole one, I'm afraid you're going to have no friends. So, first we'll get 2, break them off, a little bit of oil. I like to use olive oil because it's a little bit healthier for you, just a little, and it's not so bad for your arteries. It actually takes away your bad fats that have congealed in your arteries. Now this, I've just taken off the root piece here, you can tell the root piece, and I will do the same to the other one. If you can see, I don't know if you can see from there, just get that little bit off. It's a bit nasty, you don't want to use that. Now the simplest way to do garlic is, once you've done that, put the flat of the blade on and give it a hard squash. Same with the other. Now the skin should just peel off. Again, the skin is quite nasty, you don't want that in your food. There. Now we want to chop this up, so the best way is to get it like this between fingers, give a few slices down, try and hold on to it with your fingers at the other end, try and keep it in that clove so it makes it a little easier for the rest of the chopping. Again, we'll just chop, fold it over, slice, slice, slice. Now it will move all over the place and you'll stink of garlic, but we won't worry about that. Just chop it up as much or as little as you like. Remember, it is very strong and some people don't appreciate large chunks of garlic in their food. Perhaps if you're going in with a blender later, like a soup blender, it won't actually matter how big or small you have your pieces. But for the sake of people who don't have a soup blender to just put in, we'll just say chop as small as you can. Right, get that in sizzling first. This is the simplest sauce in the world, and it's tomato sauce, and it can be used for absolutely anything. This is your tomato sauce base for pizzas. It's your dipping sauce. I'll just turn that down to 3. And it's also the starter sauce of so many dishes. It's your bolognese base, it's your madras, your chilli. Once you have learned how to do this simple sauce with a few extra added ingredients, you can make so many wonders of the world. Now this, my onion, I've started without telling, is quite a large onion. I'm only going to use half of this, and I'm going to use the rest later when I make some vegetable chilli. So first I will top and tail it. This is your growing top and this is your root end. We just want to slice both of them off quite neatly, just like that. And the other end, you don't want them in your food. Now, we can just try skinning like this. Some are easy, some are difficult. You want all of the ones that are fibrous or dry. This one underneath is looking halfway to dried, so we'll just dispose of it as well. And it will peel right off. I'll just place that. Now, once we have our boiled onion, just get rid of that least bit of skin as well. Once we have our boiled onion, I'm just going to slice them down lengthways down the middle. Now, I'll use half now, and I'll keep the other half for my vegetable chilli, which I'm going to show you to make next. Now, the easiest way I find for me is just to slice this way, lengthways, from cut end to cut end, just as close as you can. All the way down, keeping a hold with your thumb and your fingers, and then turn it round and just start the process again. This gets a bit trickier and you have to try and keep all the ends. Don't know how well you can see. Keep the ends like that, save them wobbling about. They'll still come loose, but don't worry too much about it. It all softens down in the end. And again, a good old blender will come in and smush that all up into a smooth sauce if that's what you so desire. It's best for actually a pizza sauce, and especially if you have onion fussers who claim they don't like onions. It's more often to do with the texture of the onion, and if it's blended up very small and very smooth, they won't even notice it's there. If they really do have a genuine onion allergy, then I recommend either a piece of fennel, just cut a slice off, that would be equivalent to a small onion, and chop. It's sweeter and it does have a fennelly taste, but once it's cooked down and in, for example, chicken kebabs, it is delicious and almost preferable to onion. Now you just want to fry this very gently. I'll just let you see. The garlic's already gone golden. We just want to soften it. We don't want to incinerate it, and we certainly don't want to make it black. We'll just give that a gentle fry for a couple of minutes. Won't take long. Just keep an eye on it. Again, I have this at 3, so it's a nice gentle heat, because once it's blackened it will have a really acrid, bitter taste, and you may have to just tip it out and start again. Right, this is our tin of tomatoes. Any tin of tomatoes will do. I just go for the cheapest. I'm also going to add a bit of pepper, quick grind, good for backache. And I like to use Himalayan pink salt because it has more natural minerals in it. I just want to get a taste in there, not too much. Now, that's softening down quite well. Don't worry about the big lumps. Again, once that's blended down, if you're so desired, nobody will even notice that the onion's there. Okay, onion is softened. Let's get our tin of tomatoes in. This is chopped, so we have more of an instant sauce, but it really doesn't matter. You can use whole tomatoes and just use a tatty masher to mash them up. Now, that's very thick, and we do want the onion to cook a bit more, so what we'll do, when we have residue in the bottom of the can, we'll just get a little bit of water in. I'll just use my water filter here and just fill it. Because this is a sauce, I'll fill it about 1/4 of a way, because we don't want to put in too much, and we'll just roll all that sauce out, that extra. And now we can put it back up to get to the boiling. There we go. And that pretty much is it. I mean, you can add some marjoram or basil. I dry my own that I grow for a bit of extra flavour, or a bay leaf perhaps. Bay leaves, small. This smells all broken, I'm afraid, but for a bit of extra Frenchness, Italian, even Indian cookery uses bay leaves, so it will not be specific on country of use. Really, that is it. What I'm going to do is, because it needs to reduce down, I'm just going to pop it on a back ring, and while that's reducing, I will show you how to make a vegetable chilli. Just pop this on at 3 at the back, down for my next pan. Again, pan, onion, oh no. Pop that there. Okay, now again, the principle of we can make almost anything from our tomato sauce. Essentially it will be the same sauce in here, but with some added extra vegetables, and that will give us a fantastic vegetarian meal that everyone can enjoy. It's filling and it's cheap. Now we've done the onion before, can you remember? We'll just take slices down from there. Some people like large pieces of onion, like me, but I live with fussy fussers and I can't let them know that there's onion in it. If it really is a problem, you can substitute leek, or a piece of leek and a piece of celery blended up as a substitute for onion if it's a genuine allergy, but most people just don't. Like I said before, just don't like the texture. Now we'll get our onion in, burning. Go. Now I like to do this very slow, and I like to do it in order of vegetable, because some vegetables take longer to cook than others. So I'm going to start with my neep. It's only a small neep. For those who say the onion is the only vegetable to make you cry, have never been hit in the face by a neep. Even a small one can cause tears. Now I like, for my vegetable chilli, to have everything in about the same sort of size. So a potato, parsnip, carrot, the section of leek I use, it will all equal in a sort of quantity, if that makes sense. So I'm only going to need a piece of this. Obviously I've already used a piece, you can quite easily stay in the fridge. Because neep is so delicious when combined with the chilli and the garlic and the tomato, you want to make sure you've got a decent amount. Now with a neep, he's got head and a tail, same as everyone else, but he also has quite a thick double skin. And you really want to make sure you get all of that double skin. I'll just show you an example. I'll cut in too shallow, and you can see that it's quite thick. That's very fibrous, very tough. You really, really want to make sure you've cut all of that off. So we'll start with the topping and a tailing. Get rid of that thick, you can see there exactly how much you're going to have to cut off. Now I like to pare like this, but a lot of people don't like paring like that. So I suggest instead, if you don't like paring, get it on a flat end and try and cut down round like that, which is a bit safer. It will soften, take off a lot more skin than you want. So I'll do it how I like, and then I can see and make sure that I've got all that thick off. Now I like to put the neep in first because he sweetens as he fries and goes very golden and very delicious. And I just want to slice him first one way. He is tough as well. That was only a small supermarket one because it's not neep season. Autumn is neep season, that's when you get the best big neeps. But we want to just slice again so that we've got chip shapes, I guess, and then we'll cube him up from there. Again, turn it round and just slice. You want them to be about 1 centimetre. You don't want them to be too big. Put these in for a start, get them frying. The rest, oops, there's always a casualty. Now just do these chips again and into cubes. There. If you've ever started drooling over the smell of onion and garlic frying, and that's what I'm doing at the thought of all this chilli neep. Now, just make sure it's all flattened, every piece gets a chance, get a little soft often. Next I will put in my chilli. Now I like to freeze my chilies as soon as I buy them, so then I always have chilli nice and fresh, and they cut straight from frozen with no problem at all. Look, I'll just get the frost off. This is just a red, simple red chilli. It's not too hot. The heat actually is in the seeds on the inside, so, but one would be quite enough. Just slice away, just slice a couple of millimeters thick. If people don't like the hot bit, they can just avoid it. I like it as a slice because you get this extra mouthful now and again. It's got a bit of a bang. And just slice him up. You really don't want to touch the flesh, especially, can I just say, all the men out there that are watching this, if you touch that flesh, please make sure and wash your hands before you go for a pee. Now, I don't want to touch that, and I've made sure that I haven't touched him on any of the cut sections, so I'll be fine, and I won't even have to cut. I won't even have to wash my hands. Just be careful with your next thing on there. I'll maybe give it like a rinse. Looking colourful already. This is a really vibrant dish actually. Because it looks such boring little ingredients there, but once you actually get in there and it's all in, it's a whole rainbow of colour, and it is one of the most delicious meals I've ever made. Been making it for 30 years now, and it never grows boring. Now here, I'm just going to rough chop my garlics here now, because I like a nice big chunk of garlic in there to go along with the chunks of chilli. If you're getting fussy fussers that aren't going to like this, I guess you can use it in a little mini blender. Now I'm not even going to slice through the middle because they're crushed, they're already broken up. I'm just going to give them all just a quick rough chop like that. Nice big chunks. And it will all go in just like that. Okay, next I will do my leek. Now this is just a small one. I like to use the green half, and half is all you're going to need, even on a small one. If it's a really fat leek, then I really would just use a quarter. Now this end's a bit rough, so we'll just cut that off. There he goes. Now because it's an end, you'll see that there's maybe little bits of mud in there. Can you just see? So what we'll do is we'll just cut it lengthways, and we'll give it a little quick rinse because you can see the little bits of mud there. This is just natural, but it's only in the green end that you'll get that. So I'll just give this a very quick rinse, because you don't want a piece of grit in your mouthful of food. You'll certainly know about it if you get it, and don't worry about it being all wet, it'll be fine. Now just a rough slice, just like that. Don't want to worry too much about it. It'll all break up and disappear and you'll hardly even notice that the leek is in there once it's all cooked and thickened. In we pop. You can see the colours starting to accrue as the leek starts to go more orange as it cooks. Oops, spray that again. Now, put in a little bit of salt. A little bit more than that. It'll land a big panful. And, as always, some fresh ground black pepper. Now, next, let's get these mushrooms in. Just a handful. These are forestier ones. Doesn't matter if they're sliced, just give them a really rough chop, because they'll shrink right down. They're full of water, but they're also full of lots of things that are good for you. So we won't worry about that. That is absolutely fine. And we'll just get that in. Like I say, they'll disappear right down as well in size. This dish does qualify as a vegan dish as well as vegetarian. Now, next I will put in my parsnip. Now, a lot of people are afraid of parsnips because they do have quite an earthy taste, and they also don't know what to do with parsnips. Now, I like to use a parsnip in my soups and as a replacement for potato if I'm watching my carbohydrates. Normally I would put in a potato, but I'm today going to replace it with a parsnip. Potato is delicious, don't get me wrong, but I think I need to watch my carbs. The parsnip, what you want to do is get a peeler. That's the best way to get a nice thin skin. Just start at the top and peel down. Now, it doesn't have the same thick skin, but you might get some little black bits, but just have a couple of scrapes and they're off. They don't matter too much anyway. You just want to go all the way around, just get that dark bits. We'll do the same with the carrot, and we'll just do him at exactly the same time, as they both require the same procedure. Just keep all that for my compost heap. Nice big carrot. Carrot, chilli, garlic and tomato was made to be together. Same as the neep. So you really want to make sure you've got plenty of carrot. So a nice big carrot. Trust me on this. This dish is an absolute winner with everyone. Now we're left with these ends, same on the parsnip. We just want to slice them off and discard them. Same with the end, the growing root, the growing end. This needs a little bit thicker, as you can see it's black, so we'll just cut that off a bit further down. You can see he's fine. Get that rough end off too. Now we want to cut lengthways down like this. He'll be a bit slippery, and if they're long it can be a bit tricky, but just it'll be fine. You can do this. Now we'll just turn that over, and the same again, get our chips as it were. This one we'll just pop in right down the middle, put them all together, and we can just cube that up from there. Doesn't matter if they're bigger and smaller, an uneven shape. Again, some of this, once softened and cooked, will actually mush away, and it won't matter as long as they're not ridiculously different sized. Just rough troll like that. It needs a stir, I can hear that. Again, this is why I like to keep it on 3. You just want to a gentle frying. Now we'll get the carrot in. He's very long, so I'm going to cut him in half first, just to make it easier. Then I'm just going to do him down the middle, turn him over, so these like that, and then do the same again with the thin end. Now we'll just slice him, and we'll have these little triangles. Again, centimetre cubes. Just put that in. He's not too fat at this end, so I'll just do the same again, and just in half, quarter him, and then cube from there. Don't mind your fingers while you're doing this. Now, there we go. Another stir. Now, kidney beans. You really want to shake that can before you start, because the juice in about will be very thick and they often stick to the bottom. And then you have to poke about for ages, and it's a bit of a pest. Now, I like to just put them straight into a sieve and give them a quick rinse. So I'll just quickly do that. We can straight in, go. Make sure there's none left in the bottom. Quick rinse. There is some people say that there's a poison comes from the juice of the guts only if they are undercooked. Now we just pop that in. Sink. And next are tomatoes. Look at this now. Again, just any cheap plum tomatoes, the same as before, because again this is our simple sauce. We can maybe turn it up at this point because we want to get it boiling. Now, again we'll rinse it, but this time I'm going to use at least half a can, perhaps a little bit more, because these potatoes, I didn't even put potato in, these vegetables will need to cook and soften, and they will need that water, but don't worry about it because it will all disappear and you will be left with one big thick stew of deliciousness. It can be had actually with rice on toast, in a pita bread. It can be just had in a baked potato. Again, if you're not putting in potato, you don't want to have too much potato because potato is actually regarded as a carbohydrate. Although it's a vegetable, it is a starch as far as our body is concerned, like bread. And if you, like me, try to keep an eye on your weight, then I often like to just use just a bit of bread and a bit of salad to have with my chilli and not even bother with the rice. And now, after leaving this to simmer at about 2-3 maximum, we now have our finished product. It's nice and thick, and you can check with a fork just to make sure that the pieces are still are not still hard. This is how you know it's ready, really. So the carrot is going to be the hardest. So delicious. Also, we have our finished tomato sauce. You can see where it's reduced down, and this too is thick and ready just to be thrown straight on some pasta, in with some tacos into the oven with cheese or pizza base or anything you so desire. And that has been some basic cooking.
What does that taste like gravy? Boys, I bet you don't know. Can you guess what tastes like gravy? Fine if you really want to know. I tasted last night, the night before. If I keep this appetite, I'm gonna taste a little more. So what does it taste like gravy? Boys, I bet you don't know.